I don't bite. Well, that's wrong. I do bite.
They say resist is futile. That individual is out of style. It's a simulation, not a but I know less about
Hello and good evening. Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 2, Episode 20. The Emissary is over, and it has been since June of 1989, but we're just getting started here in this June of 2025, some 36 years later, as we continue our mission to watch every episode of Star Trek The Next Generation and talk all about it here on Live Long and Podcast, a live stream on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, or you might be listening as an audio version. I'm Dave Mader. We got a great panel here to break down yet another episode of Next Gen. Coming in first, it's the special emissary. It's Jody, Simpson, or is it Kadosh tonight?
I am Kadosh.
It's Kadosh.
How dare you? How dare you? I come all this way.
You come all this way in a class 9.
I'm looking for a frozen Klingon.
Yes. Well, I think actually, I have one coming right in here. It's bringing honor to the house. It is my cousin and yours. It's Davan Skelhorn.
An unfrozen Klingon. TOS era, of course. Which, fun fact, stands for those old Skelhorns.
Those old Skelhorns. Well, I didn't know that. I do entry to the lore. And rounding out our panel here tonight, it's the man with the great handlebar mustaches. It's the world mine himself. It's Chris.
I'm here to play and talk. And these are friendly mutton chops, sir.
Yeah. Play or talk, not both, as Worf would demand. Of course, this is the... let's take that down. As we're here talking about the Emissary, the 46th episode overall of Star Trek The Next Generation. Story by Thomas H. Calder. Teleplay by Richard Manning and Heinz Beimler. And yeah, this came out in June 1989. In this episode, the Enterprise is sent a half Klingon, half human emissary to help them deal with the 3/4 century old Klingon sleeper ship who believes they're still at war with the Federation. Of course, you could also call this the Alexander origin story, as this is the Worf
best episode with Alexander in it ever.
This is Worf's
that might be true.
Episode ever.
It is true.
No, there are DS9 episodes with him in it that are better, probably.
Nope. Nope.
Not for Jody.
No.
So okay, Jody, let's start with you. You're not always the biggest Worf fan. You're not the biggest Alexander fan either.
Definitely not.
So this is kind of the Alexander origin story, but how is this episode for you?
Worf doesn't bother me in this episode. He does what he's supposed to do, which is good. And I do like the scene specifically with Picard when he's like, can we have, I think it was Data he asked for. He's like, can we have Data like escort her around instead of me? And he's like, is this for personal reasons? And
yes.
He's like,
That's a great scene.
Yeah. And then he goes, is there any professional reasons? No. He goes, I withdraw my request. I just love that. So this is one of the episodes with Worf that I actually enjoy. That still is kind of Worf centric. And I know Davan's like veins are popping out right now, but I don't enjoy the character, but I did enjoy him in this episode.
Yeah, well, he's winning poker games. They call him the Iceman.
He's the Iceman.
And maybe that's a good segue over to the unfrozen Klingon himself here. Davan, of course, you are,
a poker game.
Like myself, a big Worf stan, a big fan of Worf. This is a great Worf episode, in my opinion. He's even great.
Because we're honorable men.
Honorable men. Is there nothing else what is that Klingon? What does she call it in this episode? Oh,
Whatever happened to that wonderful Klingon fatalism of yours?
yes.
Well,
God,
I have actually a theory, more better than a theory because we have evidence at this point. So I have some science here about Jody and Worf. So as we see in this episode, let's just say unkind treatment is actually flirting to a Klingon. So all this time, Jody has just been rampantly flirting with Worf and Alexander. and
Alexander. Oh,
I mean, the proof is in.
Talk or
The
play.
proof
Not
is in the
both.
roast egg blood pie.
is the proof
It's a good
there?
theory, but it's completely inaccurate.
Well, we'll see. We'll keep collecting the data.
All right.
Yeah, Worf proposes marriage in this episode. He wants to get married. It doesn't happen. Of course, Worldmind. This is one of the great, guest star appearances, in my opinion. Here, Susie Plaxton, who previously played Dr. Salar in a previous episode. She comes in here as this love interest for Michael Dorn's Worf. I think a pretty good land here. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Susie Plaxton is by far the hottest Klingon female in all of Star Trek, in my opinion.
I will go farther than that, and I will say she is the
hottest
hottest
Vulcan.
woman in
Star Trek.
Perhaps
That's
the hottest
fair.
Andorian.
Yeah, she was a
She's
great
the
she makes
hottest.
for a great
Everything
Andorian
she's hot
too.
on.
But no,
The hottest Q
she's-
for damn sure.
She was also.
This is one of the characters. Yeah, when I first watched this episode a while back, but this is one that always stood out to me. But she was one of the few characters that show up in early Star Trek that I'm like, I would like to see much more of this character, and she was so sparsely used and fridged. It's disappointing because this is a character that could have lasted through all.
This
7
could have been a
seasons.
character that could have been a fairly regular character too. Like
Yeah.
you could have her in like 5 episodes a season, and it wouldn't be a problem, you know.
That would
would've
be
been
Alexander
thoroughly
5 more
enjoyed.
episodes a season.
Yeah. So why
realize
did
what
we
you
end up
just
with
said.
Alexander and not with Susie Plaxton? Because
Right.
there's clearly a
Well,
difference
fair
there.
enough.
Spoilers, of course, to that season when they bring Susie Plaxton back as Kalar. This is after Worf has had discommendation. Duras, Worf's rival, kills her, murders her on the Enterprise. And I can't wait to get to that episode because I'm like, how did this happen?
You got a while though.
That's a great
like,
episode.
That's like what, season 4?
That's one of the best. No, later.
I think
Is it even later than that?
I think so.
It may be 5.
Like all that Klingon stuff is in season 5, I think.
Yeah.
Also,
I
is
think-
this like one of the first episodes that really explored Klingon mating rituals?
They alluded to it in the episode in season 1 with Q, where Riker was
They're
off
too
that test
fragile.
from Q, and there was like that kind of fake Klingon woman that was invented by Q, or was it Riker? I think who created her, and he was
Yeah.
like, "This is sex, but not for me. It's too alien. I can't do this anymore." And
Okay, so we all agree Susie Plaxton is amazing and a 10 out of 10 all the time. But
Hottest woman in
Oh.
Star Trek.
I have a question about Kalar here for a second.
Okay.
Cousin Dave, why
Yes.
is Kalar on the Enterprise in this episode?
she's a special emissary sent by the Federation. She seems
do
be, she's there to represent the Federation government, I think, in some respect.
Well, I think it's actually to.
Does she have a mission? Does she have a directive?
She seems to either be an ambassador from the Klingon side or from the Federation side, or both. Perhaps her dual heritage uniquely positions her for such a role. She seems to be in a similar position, maybe to what B'Elanna Torres was doing in that alternate future in Endgame, where she had like
So-
sort of a voice
Okay.
at the High Council level.
Fine answer. But the reason I ask is because her only objective that we can tell is to kill those Klingons. She's not interested in other plans, any other ideas. She's like, was she sent there to just kill those Klingons by whoever sent her? Is my question here. And if not, she sucks at her job.
I think she's also sent there to be an advisor in some respects.
That's what I mean. As an advisor,
but I
she
think
sucks.
Davin
All
does have
her
a
only
point
thing
there.
to say is, "I want to kill those Klingons."
if she is an ambassador for the Klingons, then why is she all like, up in arms about not killing them? Like she's like, no, we're gonna kill them. Let's just kill them.
We're killing them,
Like,
Klingons. You'll
yeah,
have
let's
to
just
kill
kill
them.
these guys. They're not gonna go any other
Because
way.
It's
We could
so
talk to them first.
simple
Don't
as-
Davin's
waste
got a
your
good
breath.
point though. Like she could be an operative for
Well,
the
she
Klingon
says we'll
government.
try not to kill them. We'll try diplomacy. But the fact of the matter is, these are Klingons from 75 years ago who think we're at war. They're going to attack a Federation base if given the chance, and you may not have a choice. But we can try. But I think she's there. She's there also to sort of advocate for the civilians who could be at risk on some level. So I feel like she's there to represent the government. I just don't know which government she's there to.
No, and they're not really clear on that because the way that like the admiral words it, or whoever it was, whatever her name was, the one that looked like she was sitting in a corridor. She does. Like if you look at the background,
her office
it
is
literally
a
looks
hallway.
like it. No, it actually looks like a turbo lift that she's sitting in.
Oh.
Here's another theory. I'm just pulling this out of my butt, but she could potentially work for or be, work on behalf of the Khitomer Alliance itself and the treaty of the Klingons and the Federation, and that sort of being maybe having its own institution, like its own separate office that's created to sort of preserve that alliance, in these kinds of situations where that piece can get blown up. You have this intervention here from a group or an agency that is sort of making sure that that's not going to fall apart.
Better how, young Samuel?
I'm going to answer this, even though it really hurts me because I love Michelle Forbes. Susie Plaxton still is the better one. It does not compare at all to Jadzia Dax. Excuse me.
In TNG,
it's far
Susie
bad.
Plaxton, but overall, like when you bring in Battlestar Galactica and all the crazy acting she does in that, I gotta go.
And True Blood, she's also in that.
She's really good in
Michelle
True Blood, yeah.
Forbes. Yeah. Okay. Well, guys, let's jump into the episode. Everything we see in this episode, of course, very Worf centric. It starts with a poker game. Pulaski once again at the poker game. Also joined by Jody, Data, Worf, and Riker.
Did you happen to get a close up of the chips?
I think I did. Yes, coming up here.
Because
Same shiny ones they always use it.
I couldn't totally make it out, but it almost to me looked like a medical logo, like the whole snakes going up the whatever they call that thing. I can't remember.
The Starfleet medical logo.
Well, no, just the normal medical logo, but yeah, you can't really see it there.
I
Like
think
on one
it's
side of the
I think
chips,
it's
it
some kind
says
of
50,
value.
which is fine.
Right. Yeah. Well. Yeah. The point
Dave,
of this,
enhance, Dave,
Enhance.
enhance, enhance, enhance some more.
I
Well,
can't
if it's a value, see that amount in Riker's hand there? Every time Worf throws in that amount, he says 50.
50. So I think this is 50. Maybe it's 100 for the golds that we see off here to the sides. Anyway,
Yeah, but there's two different logos, so there's a logo on each side. That's what I was trying to figure out. I think it's
So those are
I
5
think it's a
chips
medical
and
logo.
it's a 10.
perhaps it is. The point of this opening scene, though,
Starfleet
is
regulation
that-
chips.
Worf is doing really well at the poker game.
Iceman.
He's
And
the
Pulaski's
Iceman.
flirting with him again.
Yeah, there's Pulaski. Yeah, he's going for the I think to describe it
Totally
as flirting is
flirting.
accurate.
Pulaski
with
likes
Worf
winners. That's what it is.
Pulaski.
She likes a
is-
strong man.
She
does,
throws
yeah.
some shade here at Riker. She's like, "Got cool feet there, Riker. You're not willing to go for it."
Like
She
Kyle
can't,
Riker.
she can't go for Riker because she was already banging his dad.
That'd be
so
weird.
That would be odd.
That's off limits. That's
Yeah,
against the
Riker's off
Hippocratic
limits
Oath.
for her.
That's-
Riker can't handle that, to be honest with you. His daddy could,
She-
but
She went for the stronger man in the Riker lineage.
she did,
are-
yeah.
You are the Kalar. That's a good. Anyway, Worf he's really picked up this game really well. The poker. Data keeps blabbing on in the scene. Worf's saying play. Talk or play.
Talk or play, not both.
Anyway, Worf wins this hand. His against Pulaski straight as she goes pretty much all in against Worf. Look, come on, this is a great Worf episode. What he's got? Full House. Yeah. Aces over Queens.
Yeah, that's an insanely insane hand.
Yeah, it's a decent hand.
She's
better
Right,
I beat a flush with one of those there not too long ago.
Yeah. Pulaski's out. Worf's cleaning up here. He's got all the chips. He's I don't know. I guess
because they're getting ready for another hand here, and Data's like dealing again. We're seeing not the super fast Data dealing.
This is my problem with this scene. Well, one thing, he's not doing the super fast Data dealing, and I suck at dealing, and I like to have a shuffler, like a shuffler, because I can't shuffle very well either. So I like to have one of those machines where it's like. But I saw one on Google or somebody. Where was it? Anyway, it's a shuffler, but then it spins around and deals it out for you.
Yeah, the Japanese ones.
Data's basically that, right? But with a
only he's not in the middle of the table.
No, he should be.
Maybe. Just
but the other thing I don't like about this scene is how they switch up the type of poker they're playing every hand based on who's dealing. That's so annoying. And that's like some 12-year-old shit.
That's 24th century poker there, Davin. That's
he would get stabbed in the real life if he was just like, oh, these cards are wild now. Everyone would be like, what are you talking about? Like, get away from this table. What
Fair enough. You see here that Data gets Jody to cut the cards, and Jody just slaps the top of the deck and says, "That's good enough. That's your cut."
Yeah, he just doesn't want the cards cut.
Yeah.
That's
well, anyway, they get called away before Worf can clean up even more. Jody says, "You are bluffing," and
Klingons never bluff.
it's famous words here from Worf as they head to the bridge for an emergency call to the bridge.
That's why he starts losing in all the subsequent episodes, because they know he doesn't bluff now. So he starts betting, they just know he is.
They're like,
Klingons never bluff.
And then he never wins again after this, this episode.
You might be onto something there, Davan.
Anyway, they got this call here from Starfleet. It's ominous. They don't have any specifics. They just have to go really fast and intercept this probe or something. And that is basically the teaser of the episode. No more details given to us than that. So, but establishing here, because the ironic thing too is that Worf has this opening scene where he's playing poker and he's bluffing, or he's not bluffing. He says Klingons never bluff, but at the end of the episode, he defeats these Klingons, or he outsmarts
by
them
bluffing.
By bluffing.
Yeah, that is pretty great.
Proving that statement that he says here at the beginning is completely false. We get our
that's
title
my
card.
thing about Kalar too, actually, because the end way to solve the situation is so simple, and she was just so close-minded to any possible dialogue with the Klingons or any kind of ruse or anything. I don't know. I just watched this. It's the only time this episode's hit me like that, but I watched it this time and it's like, what is Kalar's deal?
Kalar's
sounds like she's just there for Worf.
It seems like she's there for Worf. I think in they intend her to be some kind of voice of reason, but she doesn't quite end up landing in that sense.
No, I think she's supposed to represent the conflict he has between humans and Klingons. She's both, right? So
is this the corridor?
Yeah, there's the corridor right there.
She isn't in a turbo lift.
It looks like a turbo lift to me.
Yeah, me too.
It looks like they threw this together very last second. She doesn't even have a comm badge, which is the biggest thing that stands out.
Oh shit! I never even noticed that. Yeah, no,
yeah,
she doesn't.
Of course,
if she has a desk of admiral size, she's pinned in and can't get out of this room.
Yeah, how does she get out of her desk?
Walls.
She can't get out. We get Admiral Gromek in this episode, played by the great George Ann Johnson. And she says, well, there's a secret mission we need to go on really fast, Picard, to the sector. And he's like, can you tell me anything about it? She's like, no, you get no details. You get no information. This is top secret.
What was the point of this call? Because they already knew where they had to go.
They already knew they had to pick something up. I guess this was just a call to say, I'm an admiral. Don't screw this up.
I've told you to do this and you're just going to go do it.
Yeah, this
specifically the reason was you're gonna pick somebody up and you gotta listen to them because they're gonna have the information. If she didn't call to say that and they were just like, go pick this up, they would be very confused. It's like, what's going on? Who's this random lady? And why did we listen to her?
Yeah, fair enough. You're right. This is the credentials call to say who you're picking up is an expert and you got to listen to what they say. So
kill the Klingons.
They don't. She doesn't even really tell Picard specifically that she's picking somebody up, just that they have to intercept this probe that can travel at warp, right? And so then they're kind of figuring this,
which is silly, for an admiral to just call up and be super vague and
he's like,
it's just so you keep the mystery for the viewer in the episode, but they probably could have wrote that better. That's kind of
but at the same time they could have somebody tapping into their signal and listening to their shit, and they don't want that getting out.
I guess worst case,
Like,
The frozen Klingons are tapping into their signal?
or Romulans.
No. Just Romulans, or even the Klingon. Like maybe the larger Klingon council doesn't want knowledge of this getting out, or Federation doesn't want this getting out to the grander public, like that this frozen group of Klingons could essentially kick off a whole war and break treaties with their actions.
Or the Federation is just like, we're going to kill them. So,
but that would also
everybody to know that we're going to go kill them.
But I feel like that's breaking treaties and stuff,
So you're telling me that Starfleet has never broken treaties?
I'm not saying they haven't. I'm certainly saying that they try not to.
Shit, that Prime Directive barely gets run.
I have this ship. This is the Tong. This is what they're going to find.
The IK's Tong. Well, let's just in order that what we saw. So there's a whole sequence here where the Enterprise has to pick up Kalar's probe, which they deduce could hold
at
a
warp
person
9.
inside. At warp 9, and it could, if you gave that person like a life support suit, they could potentially fit inside of this thing, but it would not be pleasant. A way to travel, individually. So they have to, pick this thing up, So this is basically, it looks like a torpedo. It looks like a photon torpedo that we were told it's a probe, and it can travel at warp 9, but how? How does this?
That's what I was wondering as well.
Where's the warp core?
They just have a warp gun that just fires probes at warp 9, no less. Like, no, that's crazy. You'd have to have such sustained power.
Yeah,
to go warp 9.
If it was at warp 6, maybe I could. Or
I wonder if Kalar was actually part of Section 31.
Like, no surprises here. I'm gonna rate this episode high, but there are definitely some writing.
This episode has tons of
we're not meant to think about it too hard, guys. On the first viewing, it's all mystery. We don't know what this.
That has to be a T-shirt, because Dave says that a lot during these TNG reviews. We're not supposed to think about it. Stop.
No, stop thinking about it. This is the first time you ever watched it, and what could this be? Could this be a person in some traveled coach style? Yeah. We see that they have to track to be in this thing.
I'd rather be in one of those than a Boeing.
They got to maneuver. Get O'Brien's on the job here. Yet again, an appearance of O'Brien as he beams on the probe casing. The
real hero.
Little coffin here. That's a good shot of him there. Pulaski's here to do an examination, and Picard sends Riker down to meet them. So
I don't know if you guys noticed, but between the time when Picard sends Riker down to when Riker shows up, like that dude flew down there. Like he
didn't dilly
flew down there. No, he was down there and
But this is on deck 4. I think it's only a couple. It's not that far away. Transporter room 3.
I also don't think Susie Plaxton is in that thing at any point, because she's too tall. Like, she's a very tall lady.
Yeah, not till they take it off that we finally see her in it. Because here they take it off, and then
I think that's a different thing. I think we only see her in close-ups.
No, that's Susie Plaxton right there. You can see.
I know.
Maybe
that's not that other thing.
He thinks this part is just a built part.
There she is. She is lying in the whole thing. Unless it's a.
Oh, she is. Well, crap.
That's got to be her.
Not as tall as I thought she was.
Pulaski is scanning with her medical tricorder, going, "This is weird. I'm getting unusual readings here." Then I had the Kalar action figure too from Playmates, and she came with this mask that she wears when she comes out of the this probe.
So here she is.
Yeah, and the mask, right?
There's the mask.
Yeah, it comes from this opening here. Yeah, exactly. She pulls it off, and we get the reveal. It's a Klingon woman.
It's actually a very attractive Playmate. It looks like Susie Plaxton.
Yeah, I have one of those too. As she introduces herself as Kalar, wearing not a Klingon armor, I would say more of a civilian style, but kind of Klingon inspired, outfit.
I think that's more of like a flight suit.
Almost more Romulan. Good observation.
It does look
got
more
the triangles and the.
Yeah, it's very triangular.
Triangles going on there.
That you point that out, which is normally a.
She's a spy for the Romulans.
She's a spy for the Romulans.
And that's why she's trying to kill the Klingons.
Yeah.
We just figured it out, fellas.
Pulaski
by the
says,
way,
what-
Susie Plaxton, I just found out, Dave, is 1.87 meters tall, which
She's pretty
equals
tall.
to almost
less than
6'2".
two. Less than two, then.
Yeah, see? That
And
doesn't look 6'2", because when
Michael Dorn is only 0.03 meters taller than her.
Oh, well, I'm only,
probably-
I'm about that height, so she's probably about my height, Susie Plaxton.
Yeah. I'm
Anyway,
6'1",
do you think you
so
could
she's
fit in
around
that thing? Well, anyway, I guess that's
The big reveal, the big deal, I think, in this episode back in the day was when Kalar announces to Pulaski and Riker that she's half Klingon, half human, because the medical readings are a little
because
off.
at this point in Trek, that isn't a possibility.
That has never been revealed, and they're saying it can happen. There can be half Klingon, half human. Get used to it.
Heather's not here, so I feel like I should point out how cool Kalar's hair chains are, especially in that last shot. Not that one, but
Yeah, the chains are neat. There's a couple.
they're pretty cool hair chains.
Yeah,
Heather has made us all much better at calling out the aesthetics and what
Definitely.
Well, between you and her, like, we got all that stuff sorted out now.
Though contrast to that, go back a
Uniforms
shot if you could, Dave. Contrast to that, her shoulder microchips or mini printers or whatever these are, not great.
Mini printers.
Those
they're
are
like
clearly the extra. Those are
flashes.
the extra links that you get when you buy a nice watch. You know how they give you extra links.
Okay. Okay.
Casio.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so she then comes to the conference room, and Worf immediately, recognizes her clearly as the introduction comes here. He gets mad right away, and
How could you be mad when she walks in? Like, my God.
This is
He's
a
flirting.
fun question from Norman here. The best character of Susie Plaxton in Trek. Are you asking, or are you saying she?
I think that's a statement from him. But
I think
Yeah,
it's a
feel like this is
statement,
statement.
yeah.
But that's a good question.
But this is my. I would say that I love the female Q role, but I think that this is my
Yeah.
favorite. Kalar.
I
and
think
the-
she's slightly
later
hotter
episode.
as female Q. However,
No, I like her. I like her and Worf together.
I
are
like a
pretty good.
Klingon floorhead myself.
She's got pretty good chemistry here with Michael Dorn compared to her and John Delancey.
oh yeah, they're fantastic.
I would
That's
say.
true.
She said
Even
she
though
already
her
knows
dialogue
Worf.
in this is absolutely terrible compared.
They had
to
known each other from 6 years
other
ago,
than-
which I think is before Worf at least maybe he graduated from the academy while he was at the academy. They don't get too specific about how they know each other from before.
Though when she walks in on Janeway Q and that little dog, and she's just like, "What are you doing with that dog?" And I'm not talking about the puppy. That's pretty great.
That was a great line. Yeah. Anyway, so Worf, they're here. We get the briefing here in the observation lounge with the senior officers and Kalar explaining that there was this sleeper ship, the IKS Tong, that has been, I don't know, for whatever reason, gone for 75 years. Back to the, I guess that would be more around
It
the
was
time.
on a cryo mission or something like that. They were like putting stasis to be. I forget the destination, but I assume they're putting stasis to unleash hell.
This is
Well,
the
it's-
24th century.
it was-
Have we
that was
figured
too
out yet
vague.
this? Or no, this is the 23rd, right?
This
So-
is now the 24th. So they're from
Now the
the late 23rd, early 24th.
Yeah.
They're from basically the time of the undiscovered country.
I also
and-
like
and
when
those
she
events.
calls Tom Paris Helmboy ambulatory.
Helm
bird.
boy. Yeah, I remember that. That's good.
But
That's a good one.
and later in exposition, we get this explanation that there's not even a record of why the ship was sent out as a sleeper ship. That maybe it was a classified mission or the records were lost, but they don't really know.
This
And it's
was
never really
early
explained.
TNG. We never got backstory.
Like, surely they were never meant to sleep for 75 years.
Well, this is the
Right, 'cause
best
that
we
makes
get.
no sense.
This is any kind of explanation is pretty much in this exposition in this scene. So they're out here; they don't really know. But when they wake up, they're going to be in a sector of Federation space that has all these vulnerable colonies, no real defenses, and they're going to attack. And
They didn't
Kalar's
get
like,
very far in 75 years, did they? They must have been just like creeping along at impulse or something.
maybe they were cloaked too the whole time, and so
Yeah.
you could find them. Anyway,
like-
but Kalar is saying we're gonna have to kill them before they kill other people. They're not going to listen to reason. We've summoned a Klingon ship as well, but they're 2 days away, and by the time they get here, they may have attacked many Federation civilians and killed people, and so we can't allow that. So the Enterprise is closer. We may have to intervene. The whole thing with Kalar coming here in the probe was that they could save like 6 hours by her coming.
8 hours, I think they said.
Or 8 hours, whatever, for the Enterprise, and so they can get to this region and to the Kong that much faster. And
Yeah.
so, like,
Which they still all know is not going to be fast enough. Like, which is basically Kalar's point, I guess. Like, she's not very open to solutions once they get there, but she's like, you're not getting there on time.
Then later on, they have this plan. Well, if we get there and the ship is still in cryo mode, then maybe we can just keep it in cryo mode until the Klingon ship shows up, and then we'll be fine. But Kalar's saying the good chances are you're going to have to fight them and you're going to have to kill them. Or they'll destroy their own ship, basically. You know?
Yeah.
And that's just all
that was a good point. I enjoyed that.
Picard wants options. He's saying, no, I don't accept these terms. I'm not going to deal with this. We got to do better. And so, anyway, he kind of, even though Kalar is kind of dismissive of all that. And anyway, this briefing eventually ends. Troy takes Kalar to her quarters. And then...
I do like the conversations between those two. Like, they have some...
Troy and Kalar are a good combo. They get two pretty good scenes.
They do feed off of each other pretty good.
There's this whole thing here where Picard then orders Worf to work with Kalar, the special emissary. He's like, I would prefer not to.
I love this line.
And he's just like, well, are any of these reasons professional? And he goes, no. And he goes, request withdrawn. Sorry.
He asks if they're personal, and then he's like, yes. He's like, professional? No. And it just raises an eyebrow at him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just a look. There's a couple times where...
But this is a pattern we see with Picard and Worf, though, because Picard will, throughout the series, he will almost kind of stop Worf, make him think for a second, and then tell him this is how it's going to go.
Picard acts like he's
I thought you were going to make a different point, Jody.
Well, make your point then.
Picard is actually a bit of a dick to Worf. He actually puts Worf in situations that are uncomfortable for him, especially with other Klingons. Like in sensitive situations that could really go wrong. Like whenever he always pushes Worf into these weird Klingon situations that Worf doesn't want to do.
But
it's just weird. He doesn't do that.
So he would have to.
Yeah, but it's like he's just like, hey man, there's this Klingon. I don't think I'm the best officer for this. He's like, no,
I
it's
agree
a Klingon.
completely
You have to
with
do
Black
it.
Cots, by the way. Completely agree.
Of course, I think we all do.
Absolutely gorgeous.
So the whole scene here where it's Kalar talking to Troy, and Troy says, I didn't know that it was possible for Klingons and humans to have kids, and she goes, yeah, with some help and my parents. And then they have this bond where Troy reveals she's half Betazoid, half human. And being from two different worlds and what that's like, Well, and I like how they have the contrast between the two, right? Because Troy's like, oh, I never felt trapped. I just, looked at it as an opportunity, and Kalar's like, no, this totally sucks that I have two things that I got to deal with here. Okay,
so one's optimistic and one's very pessimistic about the situation, and they're technically in the same situation, right?
Yeah, they have an interesting discussion about that. Okay, I also want to talk about the quarters that Kalar is assigned here in this episode, which we're coming into here that Troy leads her into. Who decorated this?
Deer antlers.
Why are the golden deer antlers and the gold plates and the golden embellishments here? This is not standard in the Enterprise
the purple
quarters.
furniture.
But this does bring up a good point, though, Dave. Do the replicators automatically season your food? Because if they do, why do you need a salt and pepper shaker on your glass table?
Because it's a personal thing.
Maybe there's candles.
I definitely want more black pepper than the average person.
I think they're candles, guys.
But it would do that. Oh, they could be. Oh, you know what? I think you're right because they. Yeah, you know what? It does look like there's a wick in them. Yeah, I think Dave's right. Anyway, so there's food for thought.
This whole discussion here where Kalar and Troy are talking about, more Kalar talking to Troy about her two different sides, for the human and the Klingons are the worst sides of her.
I think I got the worst of each. Having my mother's sense of humor is bad enough. It's gotten me into plenty of trouble. My Klingon side can be terrifying, even to me. That I keep under tight control. It's like a terrible temper. It's not something I want people to see. Sometimes I feel there's a monster inside of me, fighting to get out.
And it frightens you.
Of course it does.
It gives you strength. It's a part of you.
That doesn't mean I have to like it.
No. She doesn't have to like it.
Except B'Elanna doesn't tamp down the temper.
Yeah, and I'd say that I'd say Kalar is definitely a character that got it really adapted into B'Elanna Torres. It's hard not like it's a lot of
the template's there.
the template's there with some
the human thing on
adjustments.
hybrids have issues, man.
Of course, B'Elanna has a human father and a Klingon mother, whereas Kalar has the opposite of that. But but definitely in terms of the struggle between the two sides, being very human-like in terms of demeanor, but then can be fierce and violent as a Klingon, is, and so that duality, I think very relatable. I think for any person who's got like any kind of like temper or any kind of prone to like maybe go, I'm so pissed off, and
B'Elanna, you can't punch 7 of 9, but I want to punch 7 of 9, Captain.
Yeah.
B'Elanna.
I want to break her arm. Is that okay? No. So we have this scene down here where I guess Worf has been assigned to work with Kalar. So they're going to work in this lab, I guess, to check the data banks for possible solutions on what they're going to do. We get Kalar in her new outfit here. So she brought a change of clothes, or she's replicated some
It
clothes.
gets better.
This is a great outfit here with the tight.
It is a great outfit. 10 out of 10 on that outfit.
This is a 10 out of 10. This is a solid outfit.
You know what?
Kalar.
I never give out 11s for anything, but my God, that outfit.
Yeah, and I like the one she has on the holodeck later, but this is
The holodeck
better.
one's great too. Yeah.
It's like gold painted hair clips on her arms and like waist.
Yeah, it's
Don't
like
you dare insult this.
I think
I'm
it's
not-
kind of a
I'm
call
just
to
saying,
her,
dude,
her
that's
heritage. That it's kind of
I'm
got
just
this
kidding.
human and Klingon kind of influence. Kind of
It
feels
does,
like as well.
yeah.
So full body here. Anyway, Worf's still very grumpy with her. You are late, and why are you not here? And she's like, "Aren't you happy to see me?" They kind of hash out some of the details, but he's not having it. He's mad at her for some reason. I don't really why. But
Because she wanted to have
He's
a
playing
relationship
hard
with
to
you,
get.
didn't
He's not mad at her. He's just
he's hard.
Well, clearly she ended it.
he? Oh,
Right.
spandex is a privilege, and I like
I
it.
don't bite. Well, that's wrong. I do bite.
You don't have to be a Klingon glacier.
Don't tease
Worf.
Jody like that, Susie Claxton.
I might have to leave for a bit.
I'll be in my bunk.
I gotta go, guys.
Yeah. He's just like
Yeah,
talking-
there's the hair chains there. I love
they're
those. They
awesome.
look great.
They're trying to figure out what to do about this Klingon ship, and she's like, it's all over. It's never going to work. And he's like,
There are always options.
come on,
Exactly. Worf's a good Starfleet officer and a smart guy.
The
She's
thing in the
just like, there are
background-
no options. We're killing Klingons tonight. Yeah.
So the thing in the background there with the tunnel, is that the same thing that's from the tunnel of the girl who threw herself into the plasma stream or whatever in season 7?
no.
tunnel.
thing
Is
next
that
to
not
Worf?
Waller?
Yeah,
This
or is
is
it just like a
the
picture? Or
screen
something?
of a
It's just-
spiral galaxy.
Yeah, it's just the
Oh,
guy.
is that what it is?
say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, Worf is trying to say, I've learned things. I've grown as a person.
My experiences aboard this ship have taught me most problems have more than one solution.
Damn
Yes, they
right.
do.
What experiences has he had?
Doesn't
Nagina?
matter.
You know.
What?
Q?
Jumping over things
Uh,
and getting thrown around? Like that's literally all
Walking-
he's done in 2 seasons.
Walking through
Armis?
dimensional doors.
Anyway.
Was
They
it-
get
was
into
it
an argument
Armis
here.
already? Did we get to
Worf
And not
Worf
putting
Kate-
out his
Moriarty
nose quick enough.
at this point?
Yeah. Anyway, so he says there are always options. She doesn't. She thinks they're gonna have to kill these Klingons, and she doesn't really want to have this meeting. And they eventually get into it. But it's clearly that they got some chemistry here. Everybody, if she marches out.
The
here.
dialogue though is just not good.
Meeting
They cut from the
adjourned.
The scene they cut from the episode, which I think would have added
Oh
quite
really?
a bit
I
to
don't
the
know what scene
episode.
they cut.
Actually, was during the love making scene between Worf and Kalar. Worf calls out the name Dr. Pulaski, so they cut that because I guess they didn't want to keep that romance going. But
We get well, I guess they knew there was only a couple episodes left in the season. They didn't know what the future was for Pulaski yet. and
that's
so
true.
They didn't go
That's
that way.
true.
Kalar comes back to her quarters here. And she's very upset from her argument with Worf. and she decides to smash her coffee table. Much like Duras will smash her through it in 2 seasons or whatever.
Whoa,
Too
too soon.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, too soon.
Yeah, maybe it's a foreshadow here.
She had a baby. It was
She had a
very
baby,
tragic.
but I guess that outfit also helps her, like with the gauntlets smash the thing. She then kind of calms down after smashing the table, but just then, who's at the door? It's Deanna Troi, and
She felt that Klingon rage a couple of corridors away.
Yeah, she's like, "Ooh, I better get over there. I better ding ding."
No, she was probably on the bridge and said something along the lines of, "I sense there's some deception." Like that's literally all she probably did, and then
she's
like,
"Oh, did your special Betazoid powers tell you that?" She's like, "That and the broken table that you're upset."
Yeah, which I did
feel
like
something,
that line.
Captain, but I don't know what or where or who.
Right. But ultimately,
it's almost like Kalar's like, "You're ridiculous, lady." She's like,
Troy,
"Yeah, I know."
Troy
they like
sends
each
her-
other. They
do.
Yeah, they get along. Troy sends her to the holodeck. Why don't you use the exercise program on the holodeck to blow off some steam instead of smashing the coffee table? So we get
I know
Kayla
we're spawning over Susie Plaxton, but she's a great smile.
These outfits are just getting better and better.
She decides to change into a different outfit for the holodeck here. So she goes.
This is her sweatsuit.
This is my favorite outfit.
This is the one that the action figure has. It's the with the purple sort of velvet catsuit with but it also has like armor kind
It's
of built
one-sided,
into it, too.
right? Like the other side of it's just black.
Right. So it's got a thing here. She's looking at the holodeck programs. What is she going to play?
I still got to
here?
get that one.
She's come clearly ready for battle. So she's like, "Oh, will I go scuba diving? Oh, will I do some Dixon Hill or some race?
Nobody picks that.
This is racetrack to Longchamp in France, Earth. Carnival celebration in Rio is another option here.
What about the Rapids? Is O'Brien's Rapids program on there?
Oh, it should be.
There is the Shikar Desert Survival program.
It's the Vulcan one. Yeah.
On Vulcan. So that could also be a good one.
I have a problem with this listing, but I'll wait until later to talk about it.
We have the Klingon Rite of Ascension as well, but also, of course, Worf's calisthenic program, which is what catches her eye here. So she decides to pick that one, and she heads into the holodeck, ready to go. Of course, I think we saw this earlier in the season with Worf and
actually,
Riker.
Sorry, Dave. Can you go back to where the pad when she enters?
Yeah, here.
One more. Okay. Why does it say simulation in progress if she hasn't picked anything yet?
Well, she just did, didn't she? Or I think that's when.
Oh, okay. Maybe she did. Yeah, okay.
I think that's once it starts to go into progress here.
Gotcha.
So she comes in. We got the lighting on her suit looks a lot better now. And
Picard just leaves Dixon Hill running. That's why, Jody.
He's like, "I'm just gonna go to the bathroom, Riker. You take the bridge."
Kalar puts on this.
But your last one was 3 hours.
This huge gauntlet with spikes and chains on it, and this also came with her action figure. This big glove thing.
This gauntlet.
Mine didn't. Mine bought mine loose, so I don't have the gauntlet.
I'm still trying to find that action figure.
Yeah, she's ready to go here. Worf. Then Picard comes to the bridge. He asks for a report here from Data. Worf ends up coming. This is his version of coming, I guess, out of the argument. And he comes to the bridge. Guys, we get our first shot here of Diedrich Bader from the Drew Carey show.
I would have never knew that.
Office.
He doesn't get a line, does he?
He gets.
Oh no, he talks a lot actually.
He gets a couple lines, but he rarely.
He's not usually on screen when he's talking though.
You rarely see the whites of his eyes, but he is here. I guess Worf's sort of relief man, and Worf's giving him hell at the console so much that Picard and Data notice here, and then Picard goes, "Hey man, why are you giving Diedrich Bader such a hard time?
Nice,
he's a cool guy.
Bader.
He gives me weed, and you should get off his case." And Worf wants to check the weapon systems. Riker says, "We just checked those systems." Well, maybe I think they need to be checked again.
I feel it necessary to check them again.
Every time I see Diedrich Bader, I just think it's just like, well, you know what I'd do with $1 million, man? 2 chicks at the same time.
2 chicks at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Riker would go for that too, right?
In a heartbeat. That's why he's there.
Doesn't need $1 million though.
Yeah,
that's why him and Diedrich hang out.
But
maybe.
I have a serious question though.
Right.
You're a Federation officer. You have this Klingon acting like a jackass on the bridge. Why is he still there?
Well,
This has happened numerous times with him already.
Picard's dealing with it, man. Just let the captain do his job.
But like,
you know?
why do they always give him like 20 shot? Oh well, he's Klingon. He's allowed to be mean.
He's having a
Like,
rough
Karma,
time.
man.
He's still a
He's
fucking
issues.
officer.
He's
He
out
keeps
of.
forcing Worf into these shitty situations. He just asks to not be.
There's a hot
They
Klingon woman here. They're gonna give
One or both.
Okay.
That's right.
They should honestly be grateful he's not killing Picard and taking over the ship.
Yeah.
I am
Well, that would
relaxed.
definitely get him kicked out of Federation.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, I mean, that's why they've got to deal with his grumpiness.
Worf
Because
gets a
otherwise he would
little,
just be killing
grumpy
everyone.
here with the
But
captain.
this is also the guy though that usually Picard will say something and then he'll calm down, right? So it's like, why do we have to go this far? Like, tell him to shove it down his throat like he's supposed to and move on.
Well, and Picard deals with it. He just gives him this look after Worf gets a little uppity with him.
Yeah, like if I was Picard, I'd have him off my fucking bridge by this point.
He's like, I order you to relax immediately. Get the hell out of here. Go get laid. If that's what. And then Worf is like,
Yeah.
fine, I will. And
There's
so,
a Klingon chick here. You know what to do.
Yeah. So Worf then decides. I don't know. I guess he goes to look for Kalar.
Okay,
Maybe, I don't know if he.
This is the problem that I have. Okay, we have these holodecks, and we know damn well that people are having sex in them. Okay, like
Oh yeah, that's
Hardcore,
mainly
we
what
know
they're
that.
for.
yeah, exactly. So why does this display show you exactly what program's running right now?
That's why
True.
you would have
to
to
the
have
person
code
who's
names.
walking by.
You would have to have code names for your programs. I think for this.
Riker
Oh,
Sex
yeah.
Program 1, Riker Sex Program 2.
No, they're just called. It just says Riker Calisthenics. You know what it is. And,
Riker,
Riker calisthenics,
tropical,
and then in brackets, two
calisthenics.
girls.
yeah.
Wasn't Tom Paris's program just like Captain whatever?
Captain Proton.
Captain Proton, Captain Proton. Let's take away the T. Captain Prawn.
What is? Sure.
Okay. I guess
would be
that one went
prune.
over Dave's
If
head.
you took away the T, it would be prune.
Okay, guys. The young ones these days, the kids tend to refer to porn as prawn.
We're
I
old.
didn't know
already.
that. I didn't know that.
And you are too.
yeah.
Start acting like it.
I knew that.
I've watched
I
so
might be
much
the oldest one
Prune.
here.
That's why Jody laughed. I know Jody got it.
Yeah, I totally got it.
Anyway,
Well,
Worf's
Jody,
like
you're older
It wasn't
than
a highbrow joke or anything, but still, it was good.
Worf walks in on the program, whether she wants to him to or not. It might be an invitation. She's fighting this guy, this monster in the
The
program.
monsters in his programs are weird.
They
Where's
are
the
very
yellow
strange.
skull guy? Does he show up?
Yeah,
the guy from Masters of
Worse
the
into
Universe?
bestiality,
Oh,
and
yeah.
this is
He's
his
the
sex
coolest one.
program.
There we go.
His
he
version of
shows-
live action Skeletor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's what a Skeletor is like. It's a Skeletor mask, I think, with some like new teeth added on or something.
I would buy that mask for Halloween if I saw
Yeah, it's
it.
pretty cool. Anyway, Kalar.
I saw that I'd buy that mask for you.
Kalar shows that she can handle herself.
thanks.
As she takes on both of these little monster guys while Worf looks on.
He's like,
Being-
that's okay, but this is only level 1.
Yeah, she's like, this is too easy. I can do it. She's even like really intense here. She's like
Scarecrow and Skeletor.
Scarecrow. Yeah.
That's pretty good. Yeah, yeah.
So then she's like, so what's it? What could be Worf? And he's like, I got swords. Let's fight with swords. And he goes level 2. Let's go. And so they throw the swords around. Yeah, they got this guy.
Skeletor just gets back up all of a sudden.
They just get back up. Yeah, they don't like reset as holograms in like the way you would.
That would have been an extra shot they had to take, Dave. and-
Yeah, they're like the actors will just get up.
Have some
and that will be good.
transition stuff. We'll just get the actors to get back up. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so
fine.
they get into here.
That's what
They-
happens in Mortal Kombat.
They're
Yeah.
fighting with the swords. They're taking it on here.
It's only round 2.
I think ultimately Worf gets both of them, doesn't he? He kills both of these monsters in this round. He kills this guy
Including
first.
the Gorn.
It's the Gorn, right?
Federation.
Yeah. And yeah, we see the sword go through here. The Skeletor man. His Worf's like, yes, I got him. And it's a cool shot.
Slices him.
It
Slices
kinda
the
hold-
dice.
I think this kind of holds up.
It
It
looks
looks
cool.
fine.
As he poofs away.
They're inconsistent with how difficult level 1 is because Susie Plaxton was having kind of a hard time with level 1 there, but in a future episode, like little 2-foot tall Alexander is in there, and I assume he's on level 1.
Yeah,
And he's doing all right.
She was like, yeah, you kill all the monsters, Worf. So then she decides she's going to attack Worf, and Worf's like, oh yeah, I was ready for this. Come on, bring it on.
Because I was waiting for this.
He's like, finally, I'm being sexually assaulted.
Yeah,
It's about time.
Susie Plaxton. They're there's kind of like this moment where they're gonna fight, but then they don't. And then they do the whole mating thing. It's a little.
This whole sniffing the hands thing was a little weird, but
they're sniffing the hands. They're biting the hands. They're right, or are they? There's blood. Blood will be involved here.
Yeah,
that's because he
Get
digs
wrist blood
her
going.
nails into her palm.
It's pretty sexy, I think. This is for Klingon stuff.
I'm gonna have to call Jane and ask her if that's sexy.
Different strokes for different folks, I suppose.
Is it not sexy for you guys? To Klingon?
I didn't find that sexy, but
Not really.
I've seen similar mating rituals at the dog park.
Yeah, they're usually connected for 20 minutes.
Anyway, so Susie Plaxton and Worf are into it, and they're enjoying themselves here. She's got her nails going into her own hand. Is that
Yep.
what's happening? Anyway, they cut away. We don't see them having sex or even taking off their clothes because they come back and their clothes are back on. So there's kind of a commercial break in between these two moments here. She has like her cat suit back on, but not the armor part. Worf is no longer wearing his sash. The sash came off in the heat of
Walk
it
of
all.
shame.
Why didn't we do this years ago? We were too young. We weren't ready yet. Now we are ready.
To be married.
To be married.
We'll start a farm.
He gets up here and he declares that we must be married.
On the farming colony of Galt.
We're getting married. My mother will make some Roteg blood pie, and it will be glorious here. Yes, I was there. I was possible. Where is this?
Get hungry?
Wait. You can't mean.
We are mated.
He's like, no, stop.
Yes, I know. I was there.
I was there.
I love her reaction though, because her reaction is basically my reaction. I'm like, I'm never getting married.
Let's get married. Okay, here's my real question: is Worf a virgin before this moment?
It feels like it.
No.
It feels. I mean, it.
I'm saying
I
yes.
mean, yeah. I completely would agree. His character's very stiff and short-handed up until this moment, and then after this moment, he starts to relax a little. He starts to become the Worf we all know and love, the warm Worf, because he's gotten his dinky stinky. So I mean, realistically,
you put it that way, Chris. It's so romantic. Jody, where do you stand on this issue? Worf virgin or not virgin before Kalar?
You know what? Until today, I had no idea, nor did I ever even care, and I still don't.
Okay, Jody's neutral on the subject. But me and World Mind, we're saying yes. Seems like that.
What about Davan? What did Davan say?
Davan saying no way. Davan saying he's gotten down plenty of times.
No, because they've been alluding to the fact that they've done it before.
No, they've never done it before.
Yes, they have.
But if they've
What
done
were
it
they
before,
just friends, and then they were like, "Oh, let's just not be friends."
They
no,
went on
they
a couple
were in
dates, but it
romantic
never went.
relationship.
It went to like 3 dates. They never went all the way.
They very clearly allude to the fact that they had sex, but he didn't propose any type of marriage to her because they were too young. That's clearly what they're. That's the
no. I don't. I think they went on a few dates and then they never got it down. And he's been holding a torch for her ever since. And the closest he came was that fake Klingon woman that Riker made for him. When she was a Q last season.
So Dave, I texted your wife because I wanted to know, and I said, "Hey Jane, do you find the sex scene hot in TNG's Emissary episode?"
And what she say?
Well, I can't say exactly everything because I don't know if I'm allowed to say this on air.
All right.
Do it.
No. Well, to give you an idea, she told me that isn't your favorite role play.
That is true. That's true.
Because nobody has that.
And
cool
that
Taylor
must
suit
remain
yet.
private.
And we will leave it at that.
Jane's got her favorites, of course. Which also will remain private.
Jane rocks.
Anyway, Worf wants to get
They
married
do the
here.
Yar and Data one. Come on,
Worf's,
you know it
Worf's
is.
howling at the moon.
I have the answer, but I will not divulge it.
But
Just imagine Dave saying, I'm trained in several techniques.
I can just imagine
Dave
Dave
says that
busting out
anyway.
the monster. Marauder.
I'm trying to get through this show, guys. Come
Dave's
on.
just
Well, then
trying
why
to whip
did
out
you
his
invite
monster
me and
maroon,
Jody
guys.
here?
Come on.
What's that?
I said Dave's just trying to whip out his monster maroon.
Yeah, that's what it's. That must be it. Anyway, Worf wants to get married. Kalar doesn't. She's saying, "What we can't. You're crazy. I'm not taking the oath. Get the hell out of here." And he's mad about it because he's like, "Well, the night had no meaning, and I refuse to believe that." She says, "Believe what you want," and she takes off. And Worf is sad. His sash is on the ground. And
the hardest line there is she's just like, "What? You want to get married?" He just goes, "We are.
We are married."
He's just
Yeah.
like, "We are."
Yeah, see, this is the
basically are.
That was
delusions
it.
of a virgin.
That was the
Yeah,
ceremony.
that's what a virgin does. That's not what.
Yeah,
somebody-
that is pretty virgin. Like now you
Did
can.
they just hang a curtain in here, or what did they do?
It's part of the calisthenics, Jody. We don't question it here.
Okay.
the
Yeah,
obvious.
it's
What
webbing.
is that? Is that
Did they
like
just do it here on
supposed
the
to be
rock, is
Rings
what I
of
wanna
Saturn
know.
type of thing.
You know,
I don't
Very
think they
far
did it
from
on the
this
rock. I
planet.
think they did it
in
below.
the bushes,
Over a rock?
Like below
over
the
a
rock.
rock. I don't
And he
know.
threw his sash, because I'm only going to call it a sash. I'm not calling it anything else.
It's a ball
Uh,
trick, actually.
I don't give a fuck. It is a sash. That guy thinks he won some sort of Miss America or something. Anyway,
He's of the
he
nobility.
threw that up in the passion. Yeah.
Well, anyway, okay.
Klingons
Well,
definitely do it on rocks.
they'll do it on rocks. They're rock hard. Anyway,
You guys got against rocks.
back to the bridge. Diedrich Bader at Worf's post here.
My back does.
Yeah. They are trying to get a hold of the Klingon ship, right? They're trying to figure out where it is. Anyway, so Worf goes down to talk to Kalar, and this time he brings Data with him as a chaperone.
Which is hilarious.
He's like, I want to be at the conversation where Worf got Data. He's like, "Hey, Data, come with me. I got a meeting with Kalar, the emissary."
Well, Data's not going to say anything. He's just
No,
like, okay.
He wouldn't even say that to Data. He'd be like, he would just tell him exactly what he just told her. He's like, Data, I need you to help us analyze these, whatever. And that's like all he would ever say to Dave.
Yeah.
Dave's like, okay, Lieutenant.
She goes, "An android chaperone." Data is a little.
She sees
aloof
it
to the
right
whole
away.
thing.
Right away.
Data doesn't. Worf is a little embarrassed, but doesn't really admit to much. I do like how she says, "Tell me, Data, who's weirder, the Klingons or the humans? Like, who seems more peculiar?"
Oh, hold on.
That's the best line of the
Davin's
episode.
right.
maybe.
Davin's right. He is a virgin. So he goes
I'm
to
right.
Data for sex advice.
Davin was the one disagreeing with us. It was me and
Yeah, I was
Chris.
disagreeing.
Oh, that you guys think he was. Oh, I'm sorry. So it was you guys that were right then.
Yes.
I think because Data is actually his like mentor in sex.
It was the other way around.
He
Where
is
do you think
programmed in
learned
multiple
these
techniques.
You think Sung knew those techniques? No. He learned
Worf only knew
those
about
from-
pain sticks before Kayla.
Well, we know who didn't teach him any techniques. Jody.
No,
True.
No, that's true. Data's got more moves than Geordi and potentially Worf.
There's your virgin energy.
No one's got more moves than Riker or Picard. Riker and Picard slayed
Do
them
you
all,
think
but-
at the height of climax, Geordi does say, "I think we have a coolant leak"?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm
We
never
got
going
a
to be on
coolant
this
leak at the
again.
warp core. We have to go.
Let's get a breach.
Anyway,
I'm never going to be invited back to this again.
there's this
Me
whole
neither.
in the scene here with Data, Kalar, and Worf. They're talking about the situations, the sleeper ship, what they might be able to do. It transitions to the observation lounge, where they're basically recounting the same thing that Data was saying. So it's kind of a cool transition. But basically, it's the same kind of thing. Like, best case scenario, we're going to find them in sleeper mode or not. You're going to have to attack them, but they're trying to come up with a different solution. Can you disable them? Not a lot of options on the table. You think that this team would be a little bit more creative? Like maybe we could put them in a tractor beam. Maybe we could, I don't know, even beam on board and try to, stun them all with phasers or something, and try to take control of the ship or something. There's options, but they don't consider those things very much here. Just then, I think Picard is contemplating the whole. The finality of the decision he might have to make in regards to this, but then It's Data on the bridge. He calls them, "Hey, we're tracking them down here. They're coming live, so we need to get to the bridge." And we get this Klingon score. There's kind of this ominous music here as they're tracking down the Klingon ship, magnified to the nth degree, and we get this, the classic look from the not just the original series, but also the Star Trek movies, like Wrath of Khan,
the D7.
even the
It's a
D7.
good chance
Man.
it's the same footage.
I think it probably is actually.
They
And
used a lot of redone footage.
there's a good moment here where Data goes, "Oh well, they could be all still asleep," and then they fire their disruptors, and then he goes, "Pff," or I could be wrong,
Which it makes you wonder, why did Data sensors suck ass in that moment? These Klingons don't have that kind of.
It proves he's not.
technology
He
to
proves
reflect
he's
this
not infallible. He could
Yeah.
be wrong as well. Anyways, we see that the Klingon ship cloaks too, and what are they going to do now? They could attack a whole bunch of Klingon ships. Kalar's like, "That was your chance. That was your chance to destroy them. Now they're going to kill people." Jody comes to the bridge, and he goes, "Hey, Jody, can you track down their old cloaking device?" He goes, "Yeah, no problem, man. I can track it down. These old cloaking devices suck. We cracked the code years ago. So just give me a minute." Kalar again is like, "Kill them all." She's kind of the most murderous person going here, but she's
Super
so
murderous.
charming. Who can dislike her? Anyway, and then Worf
Bloodlust
goes.
never looked so pretty.
Worf goes, "Hey, I have a different idea. Want to hear my different idea?" Picard goes, "Yeah, I got all ears. That's what I've been paying for you the whole episode, to come up with a different idea." So they try.
Finally, you should have said.
So there's this whole moment here where, Worf and Kayla are not present here on the bridge. Instead, we got Diedrich Bader at Worf's post, who is, they're going along here. Cool. So don't bring that porn here,
And
Jody.
she was from a sitcom in the 90s too.
Or that prune.
Back
rather.
there.
Yeah. Anyway, so I think they finally do track down the Klingon ship, and it fires on them. Cloaks again. There's a close-up of Bader, not a Mater. Anyway, they're going along, and then
So is a Bader better or worse than a Mater?
Maters are better than the Baders, but the Baders are okay. They're better. Anyway, so finally,
You could have named your son Diedrich, and you would have had a Diedrich Mater.
I could have had Diedrich Mater, or maybe it should have Biedrich Mater. Or I don't know. I digress. Anyway, there's this whole moment where
That's
I
what we
guess
do here.
Worf and Riker and Picard leave the bridge, and instead we come back and the Klingons go, "Who's there on the view screen?" But it's Worf and Kalar now in full Klingon regalia. I love Worf's outfit here. It looks amazing.
Great. So does hers.
And hers too. Yeah, it looks killer. But he's got like the whole coat and the gold embellishments on everything. And
I would wear that vest he's wearing, or that coat, or whatever. I would.
the whole thing. The whole thing looks amazing. It looks like, and they're really doing him up here to look like a higher ranking Klingon, from the High Council, working alongside now the Starfleet officers. And he goes, "You fool! Haven't you thought that maybe the war could be over?" He's like, "Your Federation trickery knows nothing." Well, believe your eyes. And I'm basically just, going over.
Trust your eyes. Or is your brain still stuck in its long slumber?
It is long slumber. What are you saying? Are you saying I'm a dumb Klingon? Yes, I'm saying you're a stinky Klingon, and you're no good to your mother either. Well, I'll tell you. Well, that's kind of like me paraphrasing, guys. But this was a great moment, I thought, where Worf got to be like the captain. He got to really kind of own the scene.
According to Picard, it's his first command.
I guess it's the first time he's really in command here on the bridge. Really getting to be going along here. He eventually, he says, the war is over, everything else, your long slumber, and he's just about to. He walks away from them. He says, "Well, you can die in ignorance or whatever." And he goes, "Wait, maybe not. Maybe take down the shields." "Did you take down the shields, Diedrich Bader?" "Yes, he did, sir." "All right. Well, Kalar's coming over. She's going to be running the show, and she'll be taking you home. And welcome to the 24th century, Captain," says Worf. Cool scene. I love the music too, with the Klingon score from is that from Motion Picture? I guess where that
I think it is. I think you're right.
Jerry Goldsmith score.
Yeah.
Great scene here. Love it.
These guys are basically the Klingon Captain Bateson. They should have had Kelsey Grammer play that guy too.
That's a good idea. Yeah. they are from that era. They kind of got like Christopher Lloyd back, but that would have been confusing, I suppose, because he died.
You know what though? Aren't those the same two side Klingons? Like, isn't it from the Christopher Lloyd movie where they have that same shot?
You think
it's red, and it's
John
got
Larroquette?
Krug in the middle, and it's got it was John Larroquette. No, John Larroquette was one of the side Klingons, wasn't he? In the third?
Yeah,
movie?
in Star Trek 3.
Okay, never mind.
It might be his outfit or something like that. They reused a lot of these different ones, but yeah, it's good. Anyway, so then Picard and Riker come out of the ready room where they were not too far away. Worf gives back command of the ship to Picard. He was only in the ready room, but it's okay. And Riker's like, "How'd you like command?" He goes, "Pretty nice chair. How about you get me a chair for tactical?" He's like, "We'll talk. We'll see."
Man,
probably not.
That metal kind of thing they have on their stasher that looks like a knife. That's pretty cool too looking.
Yeah, the whole thing. What's interesting
great.
to me too is that
10 out of 10.
When Worf does wear the Klingon armor most of the time, he doesn't wear his like baldric sash thing with it. You think you would wear it with if you wear it with the Starfleet uniform, you would think you would also wear it.
He can't be Miss America right now. He's got other things to do.
Okay, well, fair enough.
Even 75 years ago, like, I don't know, they might recognize his house or something. I don't know. Like, he probably shouldn't wear the family baldric in this situation where he's trying to pretend to be something.
Maybe not. So anyway, they come out of the transporter room. Kalar's leaving to go over there.
This is the only shot they ever show of O'Brien in this show. He's standing there, and they show him from the right. Maybe that's his good side.
Yeah. He's always just chilling there. He's always pressing buttons in the transporter room, even if the transporter's not doing anything. He's just in case.
So what it is,
it's
kind of like keeping the screensaver a lot, from coming on your computer. You just
constantly moving the
mouse. He's got to like hit a button to keep the console running.
No wonder he hated this job.
He'll get a new job in a few years. Anyway, Worf says, "Buzz off, man. I'm taking over here. I'm running the controls." And Brian's like, "Oh yeah, okay, whatever. See you later."
O'Brien,
I didn't see anything, O'Brien.
Like, make sure you mop up.
Yeah, he's like, "Do you even know how to run this transporter? Shut up, get out of here." Anyway, so
everybody in Star Trek knows how to use knows how to run one though. If you ever noticed that.
Yeah, it's just like you just go like this. You just go up and down with your 3 fingers. It looks. Pretty
there's
easy.
more to that, I'm sure.
I don't know. If there is, they don't. Yeah, you press a few buttons first. Anyway, Kalar's about to leave, and then she goes, "Damn you, Worf! You were gonna let me leave without saying a thing, weren't you?" And he's like, "What do you want me to say? Are we gonna get married or what? Come on." And she's like, "You suck. We gotta have a talk." Anyway, they then have a heart to heart, and they have a
see ya. Wouldn't want to be ya.
A reconciliation.
She's like hitting it and quitting it. She's like, "I'm done."
They kind of admit their feelings for each other, and that there's more to it here. That she was tempted to take the oath as well. And
she's like, "I'll be back in a year with a 4-year-old child.
I'll see you soon. I'll be back with a baby. And we'll just to die in that episode. So." So Kalar leaves here, but
I'll be back for child support.
They leave on pretty good terms here. They reunite in the episode Reunion, which I don't. What season's that?
How good are terms though? If she doesn't,
it was in 1990s.
Maybe not.
Reunion season 4, so she comes back in 2 seasons.
Season 4. Yeah, that's what I thought.
So. When Alexander will be 2 years old, but will already be about like 6 in human years.
Yeah.
So 4 maybe.
Yeah. At the youngest. Anyway, so finally she says, "We will see you again, Worf." He beams her away, and he's like, I'll holding a torch for you, Kalar, until we cross again. And that is the episode. Oh, but there's also the kind of like after the credits go away, Worf has like this very satisfied look on his face. I just wanted to break that down. Does anyone have trivia ready? Jody, have you got any trivia?
I can do it.
Okay, that'd be great.
All right, so this episode takes place in 2365.
Did you take Davan off?
No.
Oh.
I haven't touched anything.
Oh, okay.
Where'd Davan go? He's right there. Oh, I can see him.
Okay, he's back.
We good? Okay. Yeah. Now he's gone. Uh-oh. Now it's the other one. Great. Unusually this episode neither brings nor ends with a shot of the Enterprise. So this is one of the only ones that doesn't start or end with the shot.
Yeah, that's weird because it ends on a shot of Worf's face, and I was like, it didn't occur to me until you told me that that's not the usual way to do it.
Yeah.
I've been picking up your flirtations, Jody. I'll give you a shot of Enterprise.
Oh, the things I put up with. All right. A star chart first seen behind Dietrich Remick in Conspiracy makes another appearance in the tactical room. So that star chart that I thought was a tunnel, that's actually from another episode. So there you go. This episode features the fourth completely different version of an admiral's uniform on the screen.
Yeah, I didn't like it. Where's the comm badge? It's got the stupid, the vertical looking pips that look like they would be irritating to your collar. No, I can't abide it.
Yeah, I agree. Footage of the Klingon battlecruiser was reused from Star Trek: The Motion Picture, with added disruptor and cloaking device effects.
Yeah, that was like Chris called that.
How comes no one is asking me about my preferred role play?
We've seen it. It's like on the holodeck. You've gone through 2 levels of it.
Yeah, exactly.
What happens at level 3, Worf?
Yeah.
Well,
Skelhorn
Jody,
takes
you
his
would
pants
look
off.
fabulous as a Nausicaan.
All right. Susie Plaxton had previously appeared in one episode, which is the Schizoid Man or
Dr.
Schizoid.
Solar. But this is a better role.
Yeah, Solar's a
Schizoid Man.
very wall-like. But yeah. What else do we got here? We also got not a lot, really. Oh, Susie Plaxton, who played Kalar, and Anne Ramsey, who plays Ensign Clancy, were both regulars on the show Mad About You. Plaxton was Dr.
That's the show.
Close. Paul's sister-in-law, and Ramsey was Lisa Stemple, Jamie's sister. So they both appeared, which is kind of cool.
All right, and was Dietrich Bader on? Yeah, he was on the.
Well, the next one's about him actually. Bit players Anne Ramsey, which is Ensign Clancy, and Dietrich Bader, which is the unnamed tactical crewman, went to have major success as series regulars in popular '90s comedies. Ramsey, of course, as we just said about Mad About You, and Bader as Oswald Lee Harvey in the Drew Carey Show, which I always thought.
Oswald Lee Harvey, that was his name.
Yeah.
He was also in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. He's the security guard at Miramax, and he's just like making
Dave,
sex.
do you know what I would do with $1 million?
What's that?
I'm not going to discuss it, but it's similar to what your wife told me.
Oh, he's
also
at the
played
end, you
Batman.
have to say, "What a lovely tea party, Jody."
What a lovely tea party. Yes.
Ooh,
All right. And I think that's about it today, Dave. I don't think we need any more of this.
All right,
Oh, hold on. Sorry, I got
Oh.
one more. Sorry. Excuse me.
No problem.
Excuse me. I just got to find it now because I just lost it. Damn it. Okay. The original story of Kalar began with as a product of a Vulcan mother and a Klingon father, but the editors felt it was too unrealistic to have a Vulcan Klingon cross, which I don't think we've ever seen, have we?
We've seen Klingon Romulan, but not
Klingon
No
Romulan.
no Vulcan Klingons.
No
No
Vulcan
Vulcan
Klingons,
Klingons,
though.
yeah.
Yeah. That would be chaos. Anyway, that's it.
I think that would be a fun couple. I don't know about you. Like we almost got that in Voyager with was it B'Elanna Torres and what was the other guy?
Vorik.
Vorik. Yeah. If he had hit his way,
He wishes. He wishes.
Yeah. That would have been a Vulcan human Klingon hybrid. That would have been a lot.
No, it would have been a Klingon Vorik hybrid. He's kind of lame.
He was being for a Vulcan, kind of lame. Well, he's not in this episode. Let's rate this episode, everybody, and see what we want to score it. I'll go first. The Emissary. I like this episode, despite the plot holes, despite the it's just. I think it's a great Worf episode. The actual storyline doesn't really matter too much to me. It's I don't think is what you really remember. It's more that Worf's ex-girlfriend comes to the ship, they hook up, she leaves. That's kind of what this episode is, and for me, that's good enough for an 8. I enjoy it enough. Jody.
I'm going to give you my score for the previous episode because you guys have that as an average 7.9, which is completely wrong. And my would be 5.5 on that.
Well, you just
Terrible
brought down
episode.
the score.
Good. And I'm okay with that.
What
All
was
right.
Manhunt?
As for this episode, I feel much higher about this episode. I'm going to put this at an 8.5. Very good. Has some problems, but an episode where Worf doesn't bother me. That's a good episode.
World Mind.
I give this one a 7.8.
Davan?
I'll give Samaritan's Snare an 8. What one's Manhunt again?
When Loxana comes to the ship and she wants to, get with Picard, and it's
So terrible.
I'll give it a 6. Yeah, this one I'll give. It's not. There's way better Worf episodes, but I'll still give it a 9.
Okay, it's pretty good.
This
pretty
is
good.
the best Worf and Alexander episode.
So we're averaging on the panel tonight 8.3. This has a pretty good score on IMDb, 7.5. Compared to some of the other episodes in season 2, at least, so more of a little bit of a lower rating. Okay, and we're only got 2 episodes left here in season 2 because it was
you have one episode and a flashback episode.
There was a writer's strike that year in '89, and so we get one more episode, and then we get like a clip show episode, the only one Star Trek ever
terrible.
did. And
It's
then we're going to wrap up season 2 here of Next Generation just in time for Strange New Worlds season 3, which is coming out. So we're going to be doing that on Thursdays.
Or the countdown to 26 episodes.
And then we'll be back for season 3 of TNG after we wrap season 3 of Strange New Worlds. So, but next week we'll be doing Star Trek: The Next Generation's 21st episode from the 2nd season, Peak Performance.
I like this one.
Me too. I think this is it's not a bad, if you consider this the finale of season 2, it's not the worst. Even though it's not.
Who doesn't love some good finger milkers?
Finger milkers,
Yep.
some strategy. We get some Klingon
The
guile.
fact that you just told me that, I've never put that 2 and 2 together. I've never put that ever different again.
There's like the
man.
war games, and then the Ferengi show up, and
I think it's a great episode.
not
I
a
think
bad
it's
episode.
A strong episode, yeah.
And then, of course, we have Shades of Grey, which is also going to be the season.
I bet
2.
you had nobody sign up for that one, right?
Right now, it's just me and Jaemeel, and
You
Jaemeel.
and Jaemeel,
just-
and that's
likes
probably
the
how
bad
it is
ones.
today.
yeah, Jaemeel likes the bad ones, or the ones that have bad reputations, even. So
I'll show up for Shades of Grey.
you're coming to Shades of Grey. All right.
Thanks for taking the bullet.
Yeah.
I am not showing up. I'll spend the whole time just bitching about the episode.
We have a spot open for Peak Performance next week as well. So if anyone's looking for that,
I can probably do that.
all right.
It's a great episode.
So we'll have Heather, Justin, and Jody next week for Peak Performance. So watch out for that.
It's no Heather Davan Jody episode, but what can you do?
No Heather, Davan, Jody. If you didn't
Can't
know,
have the A team all the time.
well, Davan, this Sunday we're back for our next edition of Star Trek Live Longer podcast, The Trouble with Trivia.
When is that?
Isn't that Sunday?
Oh, is that this Sunday? Cool.
Yeah,
I think
we
so.
do hold up Saturday with Jody at 8 p.m.
Okay.
8:30.
And then we have trivia.
I got a busy weekend.
And we're doing a behind the scenes Star Trek theme, so like more about like the real life actors and things.
I was
like that.
gonna win, and then he friggin' invited.
Yeah, we got Sean Farrick coming from
so
Trek Culture.
There goes my victory.
Well, no, I'm going to defeat both of you.
you're not.
It's all
I-
going down.
I definitely am going to watch this episode.
This should be good. But Sean,
Should be great.
if I can defeat Sean, I'm going to feel pretty confident.
You're not going to defeat Sean.
I will defeat Sean. It will happen.
That man
mark my
loses
words.
his pants for Star Trek. There's no way.
I had to crop out his lack of pants in this photo, but so he's just
I have him on Facebook. I can guarantee you that exactly is what that shot was from.
I've seen more Sean Farrick pelvic region than I ever intended to.
Yeah,
You know what?
me
It's
too.
fabulous though. I
I mean,
don't feel that way,
At
but
this
glorious-
point, I'm just like, yeah, I've
dude
seen it
has
many
the ability
times,
to
so.
show it off.
He's,
He might as well.
he's a glorious man who's showing the fun, and I appreciate it.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about, but I'm still gonna win that trivia.
Well, here it comes. Watch out for that Sunday. Of course,
Just,
every Monday.
there's no pants related stuff.
Yeah, Sean Farrick's gonna beat you with his pants off.
Yeah.
And every Monday we're here for
Don't ask
another.
him to stand up.
And every Monday we're here for another review of For All Mankind. We just kicked off season 2 this past Monday, titled Every Little Thing, and we'll be back this Monday for episode 2 from season 2, titled The Bleeding Edge. Watch out for
Good
that.
show.
Good show.
Very surprised.
We're doing debates on X-Rated this week too. X-Debated is back.
Oh yes, I heard Ryan's going to clean up. That's the word on the street.
Man, everybody thinks so.
I
beat him on the Trivial Debates X-Men one, so he's out for revenge.
He's out for revenge. Watch out there for Ryan.
Round 2, is it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, and you said hold ups on Saturday. Anything else I've missed, everybody, or is that all the plugs?
We got Trivial Debates at the end of the month, June 27th. It's going to be Fantastic Four. And we got
the theme is Fantastic Four?
Yeah, the theme's Fantastic Four. And we got 4 fantastic people for that episode. Davan's going to be the host.
I'm still waiting for an invite. I used to be like the champion of the show.
You want to come to the Babylon 5 episode?
Self-proclaimed champion.
Not self-proclaimed. Proven.
Well, Jody, I've got you. I've got it notioned that. Yeah, I believe you're going to be. I want you to be the host for the TNG episode in September.
Oh, okay. I'll do that.
Yeah.
Is Dave going to be part of it?
He's more than likely going to be part of it, and then it's probably.
And I'm going to win.
I get to vote on whether or not Dave is right on something. This sounds great.
Davin and probably Sean Ferrick.
I can't beat you at trivia, but I will beat you at debates.
Sean Ferrick is so nice. He'll be. I don't think he'll do that great.
I don't think he can do that.
Yeah, I'll beat both your guys.
He won't want to be mean. He'll be like, "Well, maybe you have a good point there."
And I'll be like, "You know what? Screw you, Sean Ferrick."
Yeah,
that's what I'll say.
No, you get to know him. He's too nice. Okay, well, yeah, is that all? That's it, guys. Right? Well, thanks everybody for being with us. Trivial Debates coming up at you soon, and
Coolant Leak
coming at you.
Coolant Leak.
Coolant Leak.
Yeah, and we'll see you next
I'm
time.
not detecting any leaks.
Somebody get a towel.
All right. Good night, everybody.
I didn't know it was possible for a human and a Klingon to produce a child.
Actually, the DNA is compatible, with a fair amount of help. Rather like...
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. Tune in to X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show. Artistic interviews with graphic histories. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And movie reviews with Hold Up, a movie podcast. And while you're at it, spin a few records with Eamon on Track. Watch us duke it out on Trivial Debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mater Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.